Quick review, 6.5 out of 10. I gotta be honest, I didn't finish Shortest Trip to Earth. It bored me to tears and made me angry at the same time. I found it was very much like FTL, except worse in almost every way. The general premise is very similar, where you're trying your best to make it back to home by warping through various star systems. The game begins its downward spiral with the idea of having 6 resource types you need to manage. At worst, this management is mostly controlled by random chance, and at best is an educated guessing game. You spend some resources to gain other resources, most oftentimes at a loss, while desperately trying to scavenge enough space currency to pay off the greedy rat fucks who control the warp gate between sectors. Traveling through sectors requires both food and fuel, so you'll have to weigh these options when deciding to check out that other thing on the other side of the map. In practice though, I found this pulled me out of my immersion more than helped cement it, as most of the time the answer is no, it's not worth flying across the sector if it's on the other side. You cannot tell what resources will await you, so it's not worth the gamble. You can do some useful things like power down parts of your ship when it's not in use, and cryo-freeze your crew to save on fuel, but these things end up feeling more like a chore, such as washing the dishes after dinner. Something you should do and will have to do at some point, but it's not fun. I think that's the biggest issue with this game. It added a lot of complexity without thinking about if that added depth, or more specifically fun. The best part of this game though is the music. Whoever was responsible for the sound design and the score did a fantastic job. It's all a bit drony and space madness-like, but I think it fits well with what the game wants to be. The combat system in Shortest Trip to Earth is lackluster and provides very little room for tactical achievement. Your victories seem sparse and flukish, while your defeats are abundant and random. You will have a large crew roster with various skilled abilities that seem to matter very little to the overall combat flow. The crew is lifeless and barely even reacts to being boarded or having a piece of the ship on fire right fucking next to them. By the way, you get to lose the game if you are boarded most of the time, so prepare to restart a lot. Additionally, during combat, your ship will be affected with unhealable damage, where the only solution is to find a trading port to fix it. Your crew are useless, aimless, and worthless. The game does provide some unique and interesting flavor text and encounters. From harvesting food off alien worlds to strip mining planets, you'll get to read into a rich universe that I wish I could interact with in a better way. For example, you'll find after only a few of these explorations that your crew prefers to be vegetarian. But when desperate for your food resource, you have to make a decision on how to best retrieve supplies from a random encounter. One larger gripe I have is I want to know the likelihood of success with these things. How much more reward would I get if I killed all the sentient buffalo and ate their flesh, instead of just harvesting the bean pods? Let me know the consequences of my actions. Otherwise, I might as well be rolling the dice at random and trying to enjoy the results. There is a very interesting game mechanic where you can convert your extra supplies into fuel, but unfortunately, the exchange rate is worse than a mugging. And you also can only do this exchange when you're completely full on one resource. Not during a time like, say, when you need fuel, like when you're out of fucking fuel. This would be a great time to take a shit deal to move onward with the game, but stubbornly, Shortest Trip to Earth is against anything resembling actionability and agency. Maybe it's because I could not advance past Sector 2 that I was having issues really getting into the game. This was definitely a game where I didn't feel like I had a handle on things. I felt bad, and I'm normally good at these kind of games. Maybe it's just me, and not the game after all. But I could not recommend this game to anyone if it was above $5. Maybe you can get it on sale for less. Well, that's about all she wrote. I don't have anything else clever to say. Maybe I never did. Toodles.